Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and again, for those of you who are new here, this channel is all about math and science at the high school as well as the elementary level. So today's class is going to cover grade 10 math, and we're going through the topic of elimination. And if you watch one of my last videos, we covered substitution to find the point of intersection between two lines. And elimination is basically the same thing. We are looking for the point of intersection. It's just a different method to get the same answer. All right, so with that, let's get started. So what you're given here is basically two equations. We're going to try this example together, okay? And I put a line basically over here at the bottom, and this represents kind of like an equal sign. So in the process of elimination, what we're doing is we're going to either add the two equations together or we're going to subtract the two equations, okay? And what we want is one of the variables to cancel out. Now, if I look at my example on the board, I notice that the y is basically plus 1y minus 1y, okay? What I want to do is basically add these two equations together, and when I do that, I notice that the y cancels out, okay? So I'm going to add this side together, the x's. I'm putting the like terms together. So we're doing 3x plus 4x, all right? So 7x. And again, the y is gone. And then we're going to add on the right side 19 plus 2, which is 21, okay? And what we're going to do now is just divide it by 7. I notice this is just a simple equation, okay? And the 7 is going to cancel out. Okay, and what I'm left with here is 21 divided by 7, which is equal to 3. Okay, so this is the value for x. I'm going to box my answer one more time so the teacher can clearly see what my answer is. But again, we can't stop there, okay? This is only the x point of the point of intersection. I have to take my answer and sub it back into one of the equations in order to solve for y, okay? So I'm going to put sub into equation 1. And again, I can sub in my x value into either of the equations here. I should still get the same answer, okay? So my answer is x equals 3. I want to sub it into the first equation. So I'm just going to write out the equation so everyone can see it, okay? So there's no confusion here. Instead of writing the x, I'm going to plug in 3 here. So plus y equals to 19. Okay, everyone's good so far? I'm going to do 3 times 3, so 9 plus y is equal to 19. And you notice that these are like very simple equations here that we're going through. All right, I'm going to take the 9 to the other side and I'm going to subtract it. So you notice on the left side, the 9 is positive, and I'm moving over the equal sign and it's going to become negative, okay? So y equals 19 minus 9, which is equal to 10. Again, I'm going to box my answer. And now I notice that I have an x-coordinate as well as a y-coordinate. I'm going to put a therefore statement right here. Again, just put 3 dots, basically that look like a triangle. And I'm going to put POI for the point of intersection, okay? And it has to be as a coordinate, okay? So I'm going to put 3 and 10. All right, so this is basically my final answer. Again, if you want to check your answer, you're going to take your point of intersection as the x and y coordinate. I'm going to plug it back into my original equations. Okay, so when I plug it into the first equation, my answer should equal to 19. And when I plug it into the second equation, my answer should equal to 2. All right. And basically this solution has to satisfy both of the equations, and that's the only way that you know that you have the right answer, okay? Are there any questions here? All right, good, so that looks good. So with that, let's try one more example. We're going to take this one from the textbook, okay? So I'm going to take this off. So this example is slightly different, okay? The concept is the same. However, you do have to either multiply or divide one of the equations to try and cancel out the variable, okay? And in most cases, you do have to just multiply one of the equations, and the other equation, I can also just keep that the same, okay? So the first equation is 10x, okay, plus 4y equals negative 1. All right, so this is my first equation, and the second one is going to be 8x minus 2y, and it equals to 7. Now, basically, two equations have to be given to you because it is a system. Okay, it's a linear system that consists of two separate lines. Okay, that's why I'm looking for the point of intersection. So I'm going to make a line here that represents the equal sign. Okay, now if you look very closely here, I notice that none of these variables for x or y cancel out if I add both the equations together, or even if I subtract the two equations together. Okay, so the only difference here is there's going to be one more step. Okay, so I'm going to keep the first equation the same. Okay, I'm going to multiply the second equation by 2. All right, and everyone's going to just notice in just a second why I'm doing that. So let's keep the first equation the same, equals -1. Okay, and the second equation, I want to multiply everything, okay, by 2. So I'm going to rewrite the equation here. I'm doing 8 times 2, so 16x, minus, I'm doing 2y times 2, so 4y. All right, and don't forget to also multiply the 7 times 2 here, so this is 14. And again, I'm going to make the equal sign. And you notice how I'm doing it on the board. Every time I do a step, I'm putting the equal sign. That way everything is very neat and the teacher can follow it as you're doing like the question, and no marks will be taken off, okay? And again, even if you don't get the right answer, teachers are always giving part marks, okay? So make sure you show all your work here. So now if you're looking at these two equations here, I notice for the y's, the first one is plus 4y and the second one is minus 4y. So anytime you have two equations where the numbers are the same and the signs are different, I can add both of the equations together, okay? Because the plus and the minus values are going to cancel out. All right, so it looks like this. I'm going to do 10x plus 16x, 26x. Okay, and on the other side, I'm doing -1 plus 14, which is equal to positive 13. And again, if you're not sure with the integers, just use your calculator, okay? You're allowed to use your calculator for all of these problems. Okay, so now I'm going to look for x here. I'm going to divide it by 26 on both sides, okay? All right, and here x is going to equal to 1/2, okay? And just like in the textbook, okay, they're leaving it as a fraction here. So we'll leave it as a fraction as well, okay? And we're not done. We have to look for the value of y, okay? So I'm going to sub it back into the equation here. Okay, and again, I can sub it into whichever equation I want. So let's sub it into equation 2. And I should be getting the same answer, okay? So I'm going to rewrite the equation. So 8x minus 2y, okay, equals to 7. I'm going to take my x as 1/2, okay? Again, I'm not going to use 0.5. Let's just leave it as a fraction here. I'm going to do 8 times 1/2, okay, minus 2y equals 7. Okay, so just like this, I'm going to do 8 times 1/2, which is equal to 4, minus 2y equals 7. All right, and in this step, this is a simple equation. One more time, I'm going to take the 4, okay, to the other side. So it's going to be 7 minus 4, okay, on the opposite side here. All right, we're left with negative 2y equals to 3, okay? And I want the y by itself, so I'm going to divide it by negative 2 here. So let's put divided by negative 2 on both sides. And this is the value for y. It's negative 3/2, okay? I'm going to box my answer here. And again, it doesn't actually matter where the negative sign is, okay? Whether it's in the numerator or the denominator, the whole fraction is seen to be negative, okay? So I'm going to write my point of intersection. So therefore, POI. Again, put the x and the y coordinate here in brackets, okay? So it's 1/2 and then negative 3/2. All right, so this is basically our final answer, all right? I have the point of intersection. If you were to graph out these two equations, this is where the point of intersection would be. It doesn't matter if it's a decimal for the x or the y coordinates, okay, this is the exact answer that you'll get. And you'll notice that basically if you do graph the two equations out, your point of intersection might not be very clear, okay? And this is the actual algebraic way to find out the point of intersection of the two lines, all right? Again, if you are checking your answer, take this as the x and y value. I'm going to plug it into both equation 1 and equation 2. Okay, in equation 1, it has to equal to -1. If I plug in the x and y values of my point of intersection in equation 2, it should equal to 7. Alright? So that looks good, and that brings this video to an end. And we basically covered grade 10 math and the process of elimination. Alright? So thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel and click on the like button below. And I will see everyone next time. Bye!